All right. Just checking. Can you see the screen, Michelle?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And thank you for being on time and joining our kitchen remodeling Google Ads benchmark webinar call for Q3 of 2023. This is what I'm going to take you through today. I hope you find it super valuable. I'll be sharing data about the state of the advertising market in the kitchen remodeling industry right now, currently. I'll present you with real-time data that we've captured that nobody else in our space has. We've run thousands of Google ad searches to bring you the latest, up-to-date, most actionable information. And so if you're an existing advertiser looking to understand the current market and how to build your opportunity and ward off any threats, I've got you covered with the data we'll present. Similarly, suppose you're thinking of coming into the market. In that case, this will position you ahead of anybody new to the market thinking about spending money on Google Ads for the first time. So, wherever you are in your journey, this should equip you with everything you need in the fourth quarter of 2023. Well prepared and well positioned to compete effectively to maximize your return on investment and get the best possible outcome in the form of new client inquiries for your business. So with that said, I want to respect your time. I'm going to get through this webinar in about 30 minutes. So if you have questions, please pop them in the chat box as we go along, and I'll pick them up and answer them either during the session or at a more appropriate time. But please, if you have things on your mind, I'd like to have this interactive. So put them in, let me know, and then let's get started.
Okay.
Okay, we'll get a look at the agenda. I'm going to give you a brief introduction. I'll discuss why Google Ads matters to kitchen remodelers, and I'll also show you evidence-driven data about what matters in Google Ads campaigns today. Then I'm going to take you into some Q3 benchmarks, and that's the guts of what I'll need to show you today, the real-life big data as to what's happening in the market. And finally, we'll translate all that data, information, and knowledge into takeaways and actions that you can use. So that's the agenda for our session and our time together.
Okay.
First, let's talk about why Google Ads matter. If you're already advertising, you need to become more familiar with this. But if you're not, this is worth considering. And if you are an advertiser, again, it's a handy reminder of just why this is so important in your business today. The first and most obvious thing is that Google, as we know, is the world's #1 demand-led advertising platform. There is no one even close. Google has 90+% of market share, and Microsoft Bing, the following equivalent, has roughly 10%. It's David and Goliath. So if we want demand-led advertising, excuse me. For example, somebody searches for a problem they're having and sees a demand-led ad. The user initiates the search. If we compare that to Facebook, Facebook's an interruption market where you're pushing your message and hoping to find people who are in the moment and potentially relevant to you. So there are two very different types of advertising, very different outcomes. And when it comes to demand-led, which is my preference, because we're only advertising to people who have a problem to solve and need our help. It's the only show in town. So we have to take it seriously. The second thing is it's measurable. Most modern marketing platforms, of which Google is the most prominent, as we just said, and the most mature and very, very measurable, which means we can precisely respond to what's working for us and what isn't. We do more of what works and less of
Excuse me.
what doesn't. Now, it could be better on day one. It doesn't mean it's perfect right out of the gate. There's no advertising that ever would be, but it means you can iterate and improve consistently to get the desired outcome over time. Over time, you'll build that into an asset by creating a working campaign that's living and breathing and always bringing you leads. Anybody else who wants to join the game has to start from zero. So if you're the new person, start today, because every day you don't, you get further behind.
Okay,
That
so,
would be
so
my-
just FYI, I do spend about $1,500 a month on Google Ads.
Oh my goodness. Well, so this ought to be really helpful to you, I hope. And let me know as we go along if you need more information, or if
Okay.
I'm not talking about something you want to talk about.
Well, you just kept talking about new to the business. Well, I'm not, or new to Google. I'm definitely not new to Google, so.
Yeah, not with the, now your budget is 1,500 per month?
Yep.
Okay. Well, anyone else who wants to join the game, now this is being recorded, so it will go out to more people.
Okay.
You're the one that showed up, so good for you. Thank you very much. But there will be others who are not in the position you are. So anybody else who wants to join the game has to start from zero. So if you're the new person, start today, because if you don't, you'll get further behind. The third thing is non-contract. Start and stop when you want. At the same time, I recommend that you don't stop other than in an emergency. Because when you stop, they reset the clock on you, and you have to you have to go through the startup stuff all over again. Google Ads is scalable to limit your market and your local area. It can grow to the extent of your ability to grow and scale your business. So whatever you're able to grow, whatever you're able to take new clients on, whether you have space to bring in new team members, if you have that space in your business and there's enough demand in the market, you can increase your spend and scale and grow. And that's an excellent thing. That's something else we often overlook. It isn't just about the leads that give you a call today. It's about how we can inform other marketing, such as our search engine optimization, social media, and other things that we have going on. We can take our learnings from our paid advertising because it gives us lots of transparency over data. As mentioned in number 2 above, you can use that to inform the other channels where the data is more opaque and more challenging to get our hands on. So it's an essential platform. It's also the fastest. Now, people often need clarification on this. When you want leads fast, there is no faster way than Google Ads. I've seen campaigns that have been launched and had leads generated within hours, but that's not to say that always happens. If it's a brand new campaign in a competitive market and you've not run before, then you should expect a lead period, a lag before your phone starts ringing, before forms fills start coming, and before live chats start happening. That's natural. But even if you have a lag, it's still faster than anything else you could have done. So the speed to result is fantastic, because you know $1 spent today is 10 returning to you very soon. Okay, so that's why this matters to us. We all use Google every day for something or other, be it from looking up how old a current celebrity is, or to buying something or researching something. One final thing that needs to be added to the page is if you go to any Google search result today, you'll notice on commercial listings that the ads are taking more and more and more of the real estate on the page. And that means if you want to play in Google, even if you're doing SEO and maps and other things like that, you need to be running ads. So who am I? My name's Dick Ingersoll. I'm the founder of the Website Marketing Pro, and I have a background in helping home remodelers with their PPC campaigns. Now, we have run ads, $150,000 a month of Google ad spend for home remodeling clients, including businesses like cabinets.com, forumkitchens.com. We had everything from solo operators to multi-location venture-backed remodeling groups. So I've seen the whole gamut of different types and scales of kitchen remodelers. And one of those was very kind to me recently. She said, the work Dick and his team have done has transformed our ad performance. And I say that not to brag, just to prove that we work with some real people. And unfortunately, the picture, that's just the picture. I can't improve upon that. I'm afraid that's me on my best day. I don't know if it was my best day, but it's a good day. So that aside, what makes a high-performing Google Ads campaign? We don't want to be mediocre. We don't want to be Joe Average. We want to be at the top. We want to get the best results we can. And when it comes to getting the best result possible, 3 things matter above all else, and it isn't even close. These 3 things I'll share with you matter above everything else. The number 1 thing is keyword efficiency. The keyword efficiently simply means spending money on keywords that are likely to generate leads and inquiries. This is key, not those that don't create inquiries. Now, it sounds simple, but in reality, it's incredibly difficult to do. With the current way Google behaves and the way Google matches search terms and keywords, and I'll only go into some of that detail, it's not the purpose of this call. What sounds like straightforward exercise is very complex, but if you get this right, the rewards are dramatic. So keyword efficiency ensures your ads appear on only the correct search terms you want and not on the ones you don't want. It's the foundation because it determines when we trigger an ad, which means that our second most important pillar is high click-through ad rate. Your ads are the first point of contact for any potential prospect with your business. They see that before they see your website. If you get that wrong, they'll likely never visit your website. So ad copy matters. Get that right, and you have the potential to get leads. Get that wrong, and no one's going to visit your website. So if we're showing up on the right keywords, have the right message, we need the correct method to attract them to our business, our landing page. Now, whether that's your website homepage or a specific page built for running ads, that page has one job and one job only, which is to ensure that the highest ratio of highly qualified people take the action you want, be it engage in a live chat, filling a form, calling a phone number. We need those people to call, form fill, or chat at the right kind of rate, or everything we did up until that point is for nothing. So these 3 things are the most significant levers. Let's just talk about them briefly. Keyword selection. Nothing happens in Google until someone searches for your ad, but for the ad that you're bidding on. As I said a minute ago, make it too broad and you'll waste your ad spend and get a high lead cost. If you go too narrow, you won't get enough leads for it to become helpful. So getting this balance right takes time and effort. And when I say it's challenging, look at the last bullet point on the slide. 97% of search terms users type into Google will never convert into a lead. 97%. So only 3% on average across thousands of Google Ads accounts will ever generate inquiries into your business. So getting this right means that we have to filter out 97% of what's wrong. Well, it's not easy, but it's possible. And it's something we can take care of. So keyword selection is crucial. Get in and ensure we get the 3%, not the 97%. As I already mentioned, your ad copy is your first point of contact for a prospect for your business. If they don't like the ad copy, they won't engage. It's really that simple. You only get one chance to make a first impression. If your offer and copy are engaging, you have a fighting chance, especially if they're engaging relative to the people advertising against you. That's important. You don't get judged in isolation. You get judged by your competition among your peers. So you have to stand out. When you stand out, get it right, have good ad copy, you'll get a higher click-through rate, that's the number one, that's the number of people clicking your ads per 100 people who see it. You'll get more eyeballs on your landing page, so a higher click-through rate is what we need because that drives people to our landing page. And it also means we get a double benefit because Google reduced the cost we pay for each click as a reward for our ads winning the click-through battle. So we win twice. We get more visitors to our site, and Google rewards us with a lower cost per click for doing it. And the third thing, if we've got it right, is that we've pre-qualified the right kind of prospect to click the ad. So we're already pre-selling people. Finally, a quick word on landing pages. Landing pages are often overlooked when you speak to people about Google Ads, and they should not be. Just because it doesn't live inside somebody's Google Ads dashboard doesn't mean it isn't essential. In fact, a landing page is the single biggest lever you can pull to convert visitors to leads outside of the ad account itself. It is so important. An optimized landing page can double the conversion rate you get elsewhere. And often, if you're running traffic to your main website, it needs to be designed to convert paid traffic. You should consider using proven templates for landing pages specifically for paid traffic. Now, if you're not doing that, you should consider doing it right now. If you get it right, you can double your conversion rate. And what does that mean? It means the cost of the number of inquiries you get will double, and the cost of each inquiry will be half. Not a single cent spent extra on your ads. As for everything else in Google Ads, I focused on 3 things and 3 things only. There is more to running Google Ads. There are things like bids, budgets, strategies, compliance, and lots of others. And I'm not trying to disrespect or even disregard them. Simply, I'm saying they are not the significant changes that'll move that needle on your campaign. What we're going to talk about today will. Today, we're going to focus on the impact of ads. And this is going to get some super fun because this is where we dive deep into some remarkable data that we've worked very, very hard to collect, compile, boil down to the essential things to share with you today. So here we go. Here's what we've done. We've done a study of Google Ads, and for context, we have viewed 52,101 individual ads across 28,000 unique searches. We've been verifying ad copy 8 times a day, and in doing that, of those 52,101 ads we saw, we've seen 24,880 unique ads from 1,044 leading advertisers in the kitchen remodeling market. And we've done that across the 50 biggest cities in the United States. Now, I'm not aware that there is a published data study of this size and scale anywhere. So we are very, very pleased to share this with you today. But when we talk about these things, we're coming from a position of data and from knowledge and evidence, not from our opinions, not from our biases, sharing the data unadulterated so you can better understand Google Ads. All right, so the first thing I'm going to share is that if we look nationally, these are the biggest advertisers in the home remodeling industry today, and it's very, very skewed. This is just the top 10 of the 1,044 plus we found individual advertisers. So what do these numbers mean? Well, at the top of the page, cabinets.com, out of the 52,101 total ads we saw across the entire top 50 largest cities in the country, 3,728 times it was an ad from cabinets.com. They're the #1 most visible kitchen remodeling company in the country, certainly in the top 50 cities. Forumkitchens.com was very close at 3,205. So between those, of the 52,101 times ads that we saw, 6,933 of them, is your head spinning yet? Which, just doing the math quickly, over 13% were these two companies alone. They account for over 13%. And you can see what happens. The drop off, by the time we get to number 4, they're not even half as visible. Naturally, the kitchen remodeling market tends to be very regional. And so what we're seeing here is that people have regional specialties. And so it drops off significantly. But what that means is that in specific markets, if these guys are playing, we need to know that if they're in town, they're there, they're spending big, and they're prepared to be the most visible, work the hardest, spend the most to acquire customers. And your strategy and your plan needs to bear that in mind. We need to think about ways to deal with a dominant player in our town. If they're outside our city, then we need to think about what's the best plan, knowing that we need to deal with one of those. You might have one of the others. Okay, what are these people saying? I've got 6 of the top ads from the top advertisers in the country, just to show you the kind of messaging that's out there in the market right now. These are the 6 most seen ads in the country right now, across 10 search terms in 50 cities and 52,101 checks. So you can see the variety. It's fascinating just how broad. So as for kitchen remodeling, not surprisingly, we see they're focusing on kitchen design, a clear choice, focusing on design and pricing. Even though our research wasn't particularly focused on design, we're still seeing a kitchen design ad as the #2 most seen ad right now nationally. Why? Because as we know, it's a low-cost offer, and the ROI can be very, very high. Angie.com is very much a local focus. It's a booking agent looking for people interested in kitchen remodeling. Remember that just because you're a kitchen remodeling business does not mean that the only people you compete against are other kitchen remodelers. And I need a drink. Sometimes you have organizations like Angie.com and in other markets, you'll have similar ones where you're competing against aggregators, lead brokers, and people selling leads. They're essentially consumer information sites. Number 6, we have a magazine and the home interest space sharing some kitchen ideas. Good housekeeping. Let's move on. These are the top 10 most competitive cities in the country. Now, if you're in one of those, when I say most competitive, what do I mean? These cities have the biggest number of unique advertisers in them. In some cases, over 100 different kitchen remodelers are advertising in one city, one of these cities. This is our top 10. These are the top 10 most challenging markets to be in. If you're in one of these markets, we should talk to you about how to play in that space and how to maximize, because you need to be on point. It doesn't mean you're out of the woods if you're not. Again, you still need to get things right. You still need to get the basics right. But the good news is you're not in one of the worst places yet. All right. So better ads, as mentioned before, better ads equal higher click-through rate, equals more leads, and lower cost. So let me prove that to you. We did a test sample of just under 16,500 ads. As you can see the green line on the chart, what does that tell us? The click-through rate goes up from left to right across the screen from 5% click-through rate up to 20%. We could have gone either side, but we've taken these ads mid-range. Then the average cost per click down the side reduces, and it doesn't reduce a little bit, it reduces a lot. And this is across many, many different ads. I said 16,000 ads across many markets. Now, this isn't just kitchen remodeling. So when we're looking at this data, we're looking at big data. So $3.50 cost per click at 5%, down to under $2 at 20%. Getting the click-through rate right matters. We need to have compelling ads. So let's look at the language in the market used today. The type of offers that are being run, and I'm going to focus on 3 specific areas. I'll explain why these 3 areas as we go through it. First, free offers. In your market, in the kitchen remodeling business today, over 17,000 of the 52,000 ads, so 33%, had the word free in the ad copy, either in the headline or the description. The headlines are the big blue font at the top. Description is the small black stuff underneath. And these are the top 5 ads we saw. These ads we saw more than any other. These are the top 5 offers in the market. So a clear choice. And sometimes it's a straightforward free consultation. Although it's the most seen ad, I think it's really kind of weak. A free consultation is a feeble offer. It's often used as a default go-to, but it could be a lot stronger. It needs to be more compelling, like cabinets.com, free kitchen layout and design, free next day shipping for NFM Kitchens and Bath, free expert design help from Form Kitchens, and free 3D design from designandbuild.com. These are not particularly great ads, although these are the most commonly seen. But if you want to use the word free in your ad, then on average, this is important, compared to ads that won't have or don't have the word free, you will get a 31% higher click-through rate. So it matters. It's a lever we can pull. I suggest you pull it. Far smarter than the way it's been shown on the screen here. There are far better ways to do this, and we can help you to create free offers that don't cost you money, but are far higher value to a prospective patient or a client than those you're seeing on the screen now. Okay. The other thing we looked at is ads containing discounts or prices. So anything where we see an ad with a % sign or a discount or a dollar sign, we've filtered all the ads and looked at those ads again, nearly 5% fewer than those who are free, but very, very similar. And if we look at some of these, this was a strange one, and we've seen this, but there was just a headline, no description. Now that's unusual, but Google changes formats all the time. So when you see a long or short ad, it's Google testing. Just because one of the longer are different from another doesn't make one right or one wrong. It's just how Google presents an ad at the moment on that occasion, and it could change at any time. So for example, starting at $15,000 in 14 days, $9,900 kitchen remodeling costs, call now to save $1,000, seasonal sale up to $3,000 off. We're seeing them here because price points can work. But just be aware, if you're selling purely on price, you can get higher click-through rates, but are these relative to your market? So be context aware of your market. You need to know what your competition's doing. You need to know what's going on. So your ad is appropriate, particularly if you're price pointing or discounting. It matters. We have the tools that we can help you with, which allows us to monitor your competition 24/7 so your ads stay relevant. All right, the third one, guarantees. Guarantees are attractive in the kitchen remodel space. And not surprisingly, we see very, very few of them, because if you look at what we see here, they're interesting. There are low price guarantees and satisfaction guarantees. Now, I don't know how they fulfill those guarantees. If you have 3 quotes for a project, are they going to meet or beat the lowest price? I don't know. Regarding the satisfaction guarantee, will they continue with the project until you're satisfied? I can't imagine that. By offering a guarantee, the click-through rate increases by 7%. Therefore, combining ads with free offers, guaranteed service, and clear price points can be compelling. These are the big levers that we can pull. All right, now comparing your ads to the market is critical to determine your position. The good news is we have a straightforward process for you. If there's anything I've said that's made any sense, I strongly recommend you to do this. Our business has internal tools to benchmark ads against averages and the top 10% of advertisers against branded search terms, non-branded search terms, and all the different types of keywords you can run. I'll try to explain this briefly. The graph displays several blocks, and the one on which we're focusing shows that you've received 203 clicks in a month. Now, if your ads were performing at an average level, you would have received an additional 331 clicks. So as you can see, the gray bar representing your ad is much lower than the blue bar. That's the problem, saying you're underperforming the market. Regardless of what anybody else might say, this is what the data says on a large data sample. You're behind the game. Even compared to the average and compared to the top 10%, you're quite frankly being crushed in this particular example. It's important to understand that most people require assistance to know this information. If you're unsure where you stand, all you have to rely on is feedback from your agency or someone who tells you how great they are. However, This may not always be the case. To obtain an objective perspective of your situation and potential, it's essential to rely solely on data, not opinions. In summary, more testing results in better ads, more clicks, more leads, better ads, lower cost per click. Most advertisers need to test more. If I were to open your account today, you may well be one of them. If you want to know where you fit, we'd be happy to benchmark and test your ads. So thank you. To get a free benchmark assessment of your account, it's straightforward. We can do it in a few minutes. There's no obligation. And all you need to do is book a review. Go to the URL on the slide and we'll book you in. We'll do the review, walk you through it, and devise an action plan that's appropriate for you. Now, if you still need to ponder your results, you'll have all the data information you need to have a conversation anywhere. Either way, you can't lose from that conversation. So with that said, thank you for spending your time with me. It's been a privilege and a pleasure to have you on board, and I appreciate you taking time out today. I hope I've delivered on my promise to you and given you information you've never seen before that you can take away an action. After this session, I'll follow up with you separately to send you a copy of the slides, other goodies, but please, if you're already spending money on ads, please don't waste it. Every penny counts. We want you to succeed. And if nothing else, let us give you the information about where you precisely fit into the Google Ads ecosystem and what you can do to improve it. Thanks again so much for your time today. Have a great afternoon. And thank you so much for being here.